So if you watched some of the other videos on my channel, which I hope you have, and if you have done, thank you for your support. It's very much appreciated. I'm learning all the time, trying to grow the channel. One thing that I've realised, because I'm quite new to doing this, is that using some playlists has been quite a good idea for me to be able to organise the videos into some kind of an order that makes sense for you when you're looking at it, and also makes sense for me when I'm trying to manage the videos that I have done and have not done, and where to sort of link things together and make it a bit more coherent. So I'm going to, I've decided to introduce a new playlist on my channel, which is going to be a little bit different to some of the other ones. So I wanted to just have a quick introduction and chat about what I'm going to do on that. Before I get into that, just a real quick challenge for you watching. I'm going to ask you a question. I get asked a lot of questions by students and by other people. I'm always happy to try and help answer those questions, but rather than me doing all the work for a change, I thought I'd put it out to you. The question is, when you're playing the guitar, when you're learning the guitar, whatever level you're at, whether it's electric guitar, acoustic guitar, bass guitar, whatever you're doing, what is the single most important thing that you need to always keep in mind and always try and do when you're playing? And in fact, that's not just about guitars. When any musical instrument, when you're playing, what is the most important thing that you need to make sure that you're doing? And I'll give the answer at the end of the video, but have a think about that whilst you hopefully carry on watching this. So my new playlist is going to be, I'm going to call it Campfire Songs. The reason for that is that I've been predominantly an electric guitar player through most of the time I've been playing. I love to use the electric guitars. I love to crank the amps up. Also, if you're listening to songs on the radio, on CDs and stuff with electric guitar, there's so many options for different sounds that you can produce. If you use something like this, which is something that I use, basically what that will do for me is, as well as obviously putting the guitar into the amp, making the sound louder, I can more or less get any sound of any guitar amp, any special effects, fancy noises, sounds and things like that through this unit, and I can control it all with my feet, so that obviously my hands are busy playing, which is great, and that's just so much fun. But I'll probably mention things like this in another video on equipment, but that's not really the point of this playlist, so I'll put that away. So all the gear and the fancy sounds and all that kind of thing aside, what I wanted to do was sort of go completely the other direction and make a playlist of songs for people to try and have a go at to learn, that are as simple as possible, and we can just do using a basic acoustic guitar without any of the other equipment and fancy stuff. I've called it Campfire Songs because the old sort of stereotype scenario, people sitting around a campfire when they go out in summer camping, weather permitting. You can just sit there with your acoustic guitar, strum a few chords on a few popular songs or songs that everyone enjoys, and everyone can have a bit of fun doing it without having all the gubbins and needing a power supply to hook up to and all the rest of it. So I'm going to obviously pick songs I'm going along and try and make them make sense to, you know, things that you've heard and things that are quite popular, so they appeal to as many people as possible. In terms of the songs themselves, they're going to be all playable on an acoustic guitar. One thing that I'm going to be really careful with is the arrangement of the songs. Sometimes you listen to a song that's been done by someone, an artist, a singer, a guitar player, and the arrangement can be quite complicated. There can be sort of solos and bits of instrumentals and things everywhere, and those type of things don't always come across when you're just strumming away on an acoustic guitar. Those are perhaps the type of things where you need the different sounds, the fancy effects. You need a drummer, a band and things playing behind you for it to sound as it should. So the idea is for me to simplify the arrangement of the song. I'm just going to try and go for the basic verses and choruses, so that it's something that you can use as a sing-along. Don't expect me to be doing a sing-along, because my singing voice is not something that you really want to hear. It's just not one of those things. I'm quite happy playing. That's my wheelhouse. Singing is something that just isn't really me. You might hear me doing it by accident sometimes, but when I say sing along, something for you to have a sing along, either in the privacy of your own home with your friends and around a campfire, like I say. So it's all about being able to pick up an acoustic guitar, which you can play anywhere. One of the inspirations for this is I sometimes go camping with my best friend, and we're going to camper van and stuff like that. I can just throw my guitar in the back, and we get there, we can light the barbecue or a fire or whatever, pull out a guitar. I can strum along on a few. He doesn't actually play. I can strum along on a few songs that we both enjoy. Have a sing along completely out of tune in the middle of the woods where no one can hear me, and just have some fun that way. Or if you're just having a party with a few friends around, you know, after dinner and the last of it, they might see your guitar in the corner. Oh, give us a song or two. But these are the sort of things that I'm trying to achieve on this particular playlist. So everything's going to be broken down into a simple arrangement. So don't worry that it might not exactly match the arrangement of the song as you listen to it. If it's got a 3-minute fancy guitar solo at the start, I'm not going to include that. I'm just going to put the basic chord structures for the songs so that you can just have a strum through and have a bit of fun doing it. If you want to elaborate later and learn the other complicated or more technical bits, that's fine. You can always add to it and build it up. But I want these to be approachable, accessible to everybody, or as many people as possible. And I'm going to also provide the song sheet for it with the chord structure, just the basic chord structure. There'll be no strumming. There's probably not going to be any tab or anything like that on it. It'll just be the chords in order that you need to play them, along with the lyrics or whatever in the song, so that you know when to play each chord. I'll do a bit of a playthrough so that you can just get the basics of it and have fun with it. And that's the idea of the playlist. So going back to the start of this video, I asked you to have a think about what's the most important thing when you're playing, when you're learning on your guitar, on any instrument, whatever it is that you're playing. Hopefully you've had that in the back of your mind whilst you've been bored with listening to me talk about this. The answer to that, if you've not already picked it up from what I've already said, is have fun and enjoy yourself. Because if you're not doing that, there's not much point playing. You want to be enjoying what you're doing. You want to be able to have a little bit of fun with it. Some of my other videos have been quite focused and detailed. Some of my rock school stuff, I've got some students who are working towards exam requirements, so we need to be accurate and we need to be playing things by the book on that. I've done another video on a series of riffs, for example, where the riffs have got to be played correctly in order for them to sound right. So there's a lot of emphasis on accuracy and getting things right on those. On this particular playlist, I just want to put the chords up there, strum it however you want to strum it. You'll be relying on your own sort of chord book, so I get a little app on your phone for the chords. I'll just put a G, C, D, E minor, whatever. I'm not going to bother putting the little chord boxes up on the sheets. It's just a bit time consuming because I want to try and get as many of these songs out as possible. I'm going to create the song sheets myself instead of downloading them, so that I know I've got no copyright issues. I know that the arrangement works, and I know that it's playable because I've arranged it myself. So that's the purpose of this playlist. I'll upload the videos. They're going to be the next few ones I'm going to do because I want to get this particular idea going. So enjoy it, have fun, and make sure that you have a good time playing. Don't take it too seriously.